And so here's this really, really awesome example in Common Ground, which is like, so cool, of using this concept. And at the beginning, it's used in sort of a negative light, and it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy that almost crushes this relationship between Purple Pants and, he finds this girl named Clear Sky, and Clear Sky's got a daughter named Wind Spirit, and they're like, trying to hit it off, get it on, and their challenge, right, is this Wind Spirit she's not a big fan of Quibble, right, and so here's like an interesting example where like the daughter is giving Quibble a bad name, and it's sort of, affecting the way that she treats him, it's affecting the way, her mom treats him, and it's really, 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 really crushing, this guy's ability to just go in there and get it, right? And so here's sort of how the episode starts out, right? So it's about like buckball, right? And what's cool is like Snails and Pinky and Fluttershy, like basically they're like super popular now because they're like the best at buckball ever. And so because they're super popular, like they're just in like all the tournaments, and like basically everyone in the town thinks that they're the best ever. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing, world champions. And they go and they participate in a bunch of tournaments, and they just absolutely crush it. Why? They crush it because they have a good name, right? They have a team name to live up to. And they want to show respect for the people that come to support them, right? And so they go and they're traveling around, and they go over to this town in Appaloosa to play Appaloosa, and Quibble comes with Clear Skies and Wind Spirit, and because Wind Spirit really, really, really likes buckball, right? It's just like something that she's really into, and so like her mom wants to take her there, and Quibble wants to go up with mom, so it works out pretty well. And as they're here trying to go and have some fun, like the challenge is like Quibble is really, 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 really like not athletic like at all, which is kind of bad. He's not the best. You wanna be a little bit swole, because it just has so many positive impacts in all aspects of your life. That's the topic for another day, which is like it's just a huge concept there. But like he's not really good at manage doing buckballs, doing sports, and so like as he tries to go and support Wind Spirit and her mom, like it's a tough thing for him to do, and so he goes and he's like reading all the books in the gift shop, which is what he's kind of passionate about, right? And he's just going through all the books, having a good time, doing what he loves, doing what he cares about. And then Rainbow Dash comes to see this game, right? So Rainbow Dash comes in, Rainbow Dash sees Quibble, and it's like, hey, because they both like Dare and Do, and it's fun stuff. And Quibble's like, hey, here's Clear Sky, and they just have like cool stuff, right? But you can see like from the outside, he's like super, 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 super disconnected from the connection from the family, and it's like really tough for him to connect with Wind Spirit because like she's sort of pushing him away, which it's just I don't know, it's a tough situation to be in, and I guess it goes on and on and on and on as they go through this process, like. Quibble will just keep trying to read books or share books, and Rainbow's like, dude, these are some cool books, but no one else really cares, right? And so they go out and they try to like watch the game. So they go and they watch the game, and they do like it's super fun. Like they play buckball, and it's just like really cool. Just a great experience. It was like a huge, fans everywhere, just like big crowds that came to watch this game, and they do like a super awesome job. And so to sort of stand out, right? Like Quibble says, hey, do you want to go and like meet because like I said, Fluttershy, Pinky, and Snails got like super famous because they were really good at this game. And so he takes her onto the field to meet the team during halftime. And so they come to meet the team. And basically, like in the middle of halftime, they kind of like call them out and they say, "Hey, you guys should come on the field and play, like a mini halftime game." And Quibble's like, "I don't know about that. I'm not very good at this game." But Wind Spirit's all about it, and so they get on the field and they try to like pass the ball around. Wind Spirit does a great job, but like I said, Quibble's like really unathletic, so it goes really kind of south pretty quick. He like makes a huge mess everywhere and just like tramples everyone. And it just sucks because like he is being pushed out, he's being degraded, he's being hurt, and he's not really fulfilling his full potential. And after this happens, like, Clear Sky asks Wind Spirit, like, hey, what's up? Like, why are you kind of harsh on Quibble? And, basically, she says, like, look, like, this guy's not my dad, and, like, I don't want to push away my dad, even though, like, she hasn't seen her dad, like, ever. It's just a tough situation to be in. But in her mind, right, she mentally doesn't believe in, like, the spirit, right? She doesn't, like, she's not invested in this relationship in any, aspect or form whatsoever. And the Quibble can't overcome that, right? You can't force someone to care. You can't force someone into it. So it's just a very, very difficult situation coming. So Rainbow Dash sees this, and she sees this going on. She says, okay, well, how can we push through this? How can we make this better? And she realizes that, like, what she has to do is fundamentally change the way the Wind Spirit looks at Quibble. Like, the name that she gives him, the face that she puts on him, and the respect, the authority, the positioning, everything she thinks about him, right? And so what they do is basically they find this Buckball book, which is, like, super cool. Rainbow Dash gets it for her, and, like, she reads this Buckball book, and it's like this moves in this Buckball book, and just some stuff that she's into about the sport, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, that's so cool, history and moves and all this cool stuff. And she's, like, just getting interested in new ideas, new topics, new opportunities. And it happens because she opens her mind to this chance that, okay, maybe there could be a relationship here. Maybe I don't have to label this as a negative thing. And instead, her mom convinces her that this is a good thing, and this can be happen. This, like, should happen, right? And so it changes her whole perspective on how she sees this connection, how she sees this relationship, and instead now she can look back at it and say, okay, all right, cool, we're going to have success, we're going to have this connection, we're going to have this relationship, and she starts to bond with Quibble, and it just works out really, really well because she changes her perception, and the moment you change your perception, right, like, you change everything. You change, like, the whole dynamic the moment that you change the name that you're giving someone, the face that you put them in, right? And that's exactly what she does here. She says, look, you know what? I think we can be friends. I think we will be friends. And she freaking goes out there and does it. And so Rainbow came and she helped him out. And it just worked out really, really well at the end because she changed the way she perceived Quibble. And then they all came together and they bonded. And they just got to have, like, a really, really great time together. Have an awesome, awesome connection. Build an amazing, amazing, amazing relationship. Why? Because they changed the way they perceive each other. And they changed the name, right? So instead of, labeling him as an enemy, shift that into a potential friend, right? And the moment you do that, like, it's so much easier to, like, build that connection, right? Because you're looking up, you're looking at the positive, you're looking at the opportunity, you're looking at all the amazing things that could be and that shall be in this connection instead of focusing on the negative downside, right? Because where you look at is where you're going to go, right? If you're going down a stream on, like, a huge kayak or a rowboat or something, and you see this giant rock, like, if all you do is stare at the giant rock and paddle towards it, like, wherever your attention goes, like, that's where your boat's going to go. You're going to go right into the giant rock. And so you have to take your mind and force yourself away from the negativity and look at the positivity, look at the clear stream, look at the open waters, and go that way and focus that way, and then you'll have the success, right? You'll get to that end point. Super powerful concept. It all comes from this idea of having the right perception over the opportunities in front of you. The moment you do that, it changes everything. It's so powerful because you have the power to steer your future. And all you have to do is pick the right mental image to work towards, pick the right image to shift your mindset to, and the moment you do that, you're going to get there faster than ever before. You're going to totally avoid the pain, the difficulties, and the mistrust that can come from, outbreaks, conflicts, and just crap like that, which is super cool. All right, so she's all oh, this one's so fun. Okay, so you've got, like, the little six, and they're in school, and it's just like, this basic stuff. And Twilight comes in and she says, hey guys, we're gonna have this huge, ball, this big dance, it's gonna be this giant party, it's gonna be like the coolest thing ever, sort of like in like the main school area, like the foyer, in like a week, and it's gonna be like awesome, you guys should come and you can have like dates, and so basically like there's just this big dance, this huge party going on. And so, like, they all like have to find like dates basically, and then whoever, like, they're gonna have like this contest And whoever wins this contest is like being the best friends is gonna get this huge trophy, and they're gonna be like the best, pals or whatever, which is super, super, super cool. And she calls it like, the Pony Pal Award, which is really interesting. So what happens is like Sambar, right? You got Sambar, he's like the green guy, and then Yona, who's like the giant yak. Basically, Sambar like asked Yona, "Hey Yona, do you want to come to this giant dance?" And she's, what's interesting is like at first Yona doesn't know that she can go because it's like it says it's for ponies. But she realizes like, the race or the gender, whatever, like it doesn't matter as much as just the relationships and the connection. And the actual people there, it's just so much more important to focus on the individuals rather than like, the specific details, or rather than, race basically. And so, Sambar comes that, and then Yona's like, oh, okay, cool, sure, we'll go to the dance, it'll be hype, we'll have a great time. And so, like, they got their date, super, super cool. And then what happens next is really, really, really interesting. So, like, again, remember, like, she's a little bit worried that she doesn't really look like a pony. You kind of see it in this picture, like, this idea of, like, being her versus being what she thinks other people want her to be like at this party, right? Which is just, like, it's just bogus, right? Because, like, you can't change who you are, especially in the long term. Like, there's just no way to do it. But, like, we'll elaborate on the concept in just a second. I want you guys to see sort of the process that she goes through, because it's just so powerful, so huge. So let's go through that real quick.
The more you know how things are done, the more confident you'll be. There's more to a dance than just having fun, and there's no better teacher than me. Rarity!
Oh, you're see!
When I'm finished with you, you'll start to fit right in. Listen to me when I say, once you learn the pony way, you'll start to fit right in.
Right in!
No need to wait another day to be part of our smart soiree. The perfect dress, a color, all the rage, but still unique. Now loose the braids, try a style more fantastic. Here's what we'll do, a hornicure and a deep freeze. We'll dress shampoo this, whatever yak pot this is. Too curly, too blue, too retro, too new, too twilight, too furry. We'll find one, don't you worry. Choose what you want to be and be it. Picture you to see and see it. I'm the magic guaranteed. You fit right in. My plan, my grand design. Your friends were thrilled to find a new you that's too divine. Yeah, you're not gonna fit right in.
Right in!
Listen to me when I say, once you learn the pony way, I'll start to fit right in. Right in.
Yeah, not waste another day to be part of your pony way. Yeah, not waste another day to fit right in.
And so what she wants more than anything, right, is to fit in, like, with the crowd, right, to be with a friend, right, just like what everyone else wants is to not stand out like a giant, Gulliver's Travel, like in the middle of the forest, right, and that's like all she wants, right, she's just like what most people want, right, to just be part of the group and just have a good time. It just works out, like that's all she wants, right? And so, like, what she does though is she goes to this extreme, she goes to this effort. She asks for it, like she goes out and she does the right thing, she raises her hand and she says, hey, I need help, can someone help me, and, fit in or look nice. And so she goes and she asks, like, the best person that she can find, which is Rarity, right? So she goes to Rarity and says, hey, can you help me? And she does, like, the smartest thing that she knows how to do, which is to ask for help. And this is kind of like what the end result of that is after, like, she makes, like, this giant dress and it's, like, she just, like, changes, like, her whole look. And and she just looks this really crazy look. And so, like, Rarity, like, tricks her out and just takes her through this whole process of basically just, like, changing, like, a lot of things about her so that she can, like, be more normal or whatever, right? So she gets to this dance and Sambar's like, dude, what the heck? You look really weird, but that's okay. And then they, go in and they dance and stuff. And they worked on, like, the way that she danced and all that stuff. And basically, like, what she used to is just stomp up and down super hard, like pretty hardcore, pretty like insanely cool stuff. But then she like learned how to do like ballroom dancing and crap like that. So she's trying to like ballroom dance with Sandbar and with other people, but most of Sandbar like Rarity. And like she just like spins into a circle and like knocks over a table and then breaks like one of the ceiling like support beams. And there's just this huge mess everywhere. It just destroys like the whole like ballroom is just in pieces, and everyone, like, there's just chain reaction of everybody basically just like getting crushed, and they like knock down everything that's set up, and it's just this huge mess everywhere. It's insane. And what she realizes is like by trying so hard to fit in, she cared, but she cared way too much about this end result, about looking perfect, right? And what that did is it totally crushed the normal atmosphere, totally crushed normal mood. And she runs out of here and she's just distraught. She feels awful because she's ruined the night for herself, for her friend, for her date, for everyone there. And it was just a bad situation to be in. She comes over, to the tree house that they built at the Tree of Harmony, and she's like standing here alone, super sad, super distraught. And then Sandbar comes up, and as Sandbar stands here, like he's like, what happened, man? And she's like, she was trying to be perfect for everybody. She's trying to please everyone except the most important person, which is herself, right? And she just could not please herself, which is just harsh stuff. And so like she goes through this process. And Sandbar's like, look, not a big deal. Like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I like you for who you are, not for some perfect, makeup, whatever, right? And she realizes that, like, all she has to do is be herself to have that success, to have that relationship, to have that connection, to foster that growth. It's nothing more than her being herself. And so she realizes, and they go back to the dance, and then try to help clean stuff up. And then they just have fun normally. They have fun as themselves. And then they win like the prize for being the best, couple or whatever. And they crush it. They do an amazing job. Because Yona realizes that like all she has to do is be herself. Like Sandbar likes Yona for her, right? And so like you've got to try, but just not that much. So here's sort of the giant mess that she made, and it's so harsh because like she made a fool in front of everyone out of herself. All because she was just trying to do something that she internally just was not. And it's interesting, like, you look at the body, you look at cells, and I'm not big into chemistry or biology or anything, but like, this is this really interesting concept I heard that I just thought was really powerful, and I think it kind of applies directly to this idea of trying to really figure out like where your true balance is, right? So like where are you on your spectrum of you? And this could be physically, this could be emotionally, this could be thought, this could be your personality. But say your core, your core is right around here, right? What's really interesting, if you inject ink into the body, like the body will naturally want to purge that ink from your body. Like if you write with pen on yourself, like the body naturally will want to shed off skin or peel away the ink or push the ink out of the body because it doesn't want foreign objects, doesn't want foreign substances inside of the skin. And so like that's why if you get cut, you'll try to push out, like if you get a splinter, you'll try to normally push out the wood, or your body will naturally try to push out like ink, or if you get like dry erase marker all over your hands, like your body will naturally try to push that out. And so to actually like give people tattoos, what tattoo artists do, like they don't just like put ink in the skin, they have to like really pierce deep into the dermis, which is like the lowest layer of the skin, and get to like the core fat, like the core tissue of the human hand or the human arm or the body, right? And they have to go really deep, like past all of the layers of the skin to the core base of the skin, and then inject ink like directly into like your like fat layer of your body. It's not the skin, it's like the underlying tissue, and it's so disgusting. But like what's interesting is like tattoos, even as they get super deep, over time they still fade away just a little bit, right? They could stretch and expand and compact, obviously depending on like skin and growth. I don't know, like not my area of expertise, but like the body will naturally want to purge that ink from your skin, right? And so it's the same thing with any sort of personality or any thought process or anything else you have, right? If you try to go way, like if you're normally right around here, and then all of a sudden you have this bam, and try to go way over here, like your body is naturally going to return to its set point. And this is true for literally like I learned this concept and it blew my mind and it enabled me to lose like 50 pounds. It was so crazy. Your body will go back to your set point. So like this could be like Yona freaking out and trying to change everything about herself. Like there's going to be a very, very quick expansion to this new territory. But this cannot last unless this actually becomes the new set point. So this has to either become the new set point or the body will go back to the old point. And for Yona, it makes no sense to have a new set point in this new personality because it's just not who she is. And so that's not going to happen. Like she's not going to change her set point. And so what happens is the body, it realizes that, hey, there's a serious gap between where we are right now and where we're usually supposed to be. We need to get back here as fast as possible. And that's exactly what happens with Yona. She comes back to being herself. Because this is an abnormality. This is not a normal place to be. And this happens in many, many different situations. I want to give us another example with this idea of weight loss. And it's not like my area of expertise, but I apply this concept and it's just so powerful, so huge. And I think you can use it really, really, really well to sort of change the way that you look at wealth. And I'll talk to you that in just a second. But I want to explain it to you so you understand the underlying concept. Because it's something that I literally rarely see, and it's so powerful. So, long time ago, I was learning about this concept, and I was super overweight, right? So my set point was it was 180 pounds. It's a while ago, so I was a little bit younger. Didn't have much muscle, wasn't as swole. And so I worked out really, really, really quickly. For half a year, I got to 125 pounds. Maybe 130 pounds. At the minimum, it was 125 pounds. And you gotta remember, this is an abnormality. So the only thing you can do to maintain this is to actually change your set point. And so to change your set point, for me, what this meant was exercise every single day, which I never did before. This meant, not eating shit. So which I never did before. And this particularly, it meant no sugar for a year, which is super, super powerful. And that can help you get really, really quick results. And so it's not that freaking difficult. It's not a secret formula. It's just whatever, right? And so I did this, right? And I got to this point, and I realized if I wanted to stay here, I needed to shift my set point, or else I would come right back here, right? If I went back to my old habits, my old personality, my old traits, everything I used to do, then this would not have a lasting impact, right? It just won't work. You've got to move the set point. You have to shift who you are as a person. And so that's exactly what I did, right? And a lot of it, actually 99% of it, it's all mental. This set point is a point that is part of your physiological body, at least in some situations with weight. With other situations like wealth, it's more mental. But the set point is completely and totally determined by your mindset. And so in my mind, I said, look, I'm going to get rid of this old set point because I think it's stupid. I don't want to be fat. And I'm going to move that set point over here. That's exactly what I did. I shifted the set point. I said, look, I'm going to stay at this level. And I'm going to alternate. I'm going to have a little alteration, but it's all going to be around this core level right here. That's exactly what I did. I totally shifted my whole state of being, and I was able to stay over here until I started getting then you can get muscle, right? And then as you add muscle, you just add weight because you get swole. But it's this was for cross country, mostly cross country, and so the core foundation of it, right? And this obviously this depends on your height, on what's a good healthy place to be. And so as you get, there's so much to do with health. Health is not my thing. But it's this concept of the set point that's really, really, really powerful. Because I shifted my set point, I was able to stay here, right? And I didn't rebound back. Because I made that mental shift, I made that commitment, and I said, look, I'm not going to go back to failure. I'm not going to go back to this loss, this bad state. I'm going to have success by moving my set point. Now, I hope that makes sense to you, because I understand your weight will vary around a set point. And the moment you can master that set point and have control over it, you have control over everything in your life. So now that you understand this core foundational concept, like, I hope you guys are getting this, because this is huge, right? I want you to think about any aspect of your life, like everything that you have, like the amount of sleep that you get, the amount of exercise you get, how much food you eat. All of that is based around the set point that you have in your mind. And if you vary away from it, you're naturally going to want to come back to that set point. It's just human nature to come back to this set point, unless you make a decision inside your mind to shift your set point, to shift into a new aspect, right? And to do actions that are aligned with the mental process to actually shift that set point. So here's where this starts getting really fun, okay? So let's get rid of this weight stuff, and let's look at how we can apply this to like your wealth, your portfolio, your returns, okay? So, like when I was starting out investing, right? Like I was just like how most people were. If you look at like percent returns, right? Most people are like, you have some people that are like, I'm gonna draw the line here, because some people are kind of crazy. So you have like this little percentage of the population that's kind of crazy, and they put like all their money in like CDs and just like really low return investments. And so maybe, you get like a couple of percentage points, right? Like with bonds, 1 to 3%, right? And then you have like where most people are, which is like, the average market return, like 9%. And then you have like really, 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 really high returns. And that's sort of what this area over here is. Kind of like infinite returns, like especially with options, like, oh my gosh, so powerful. And so there's this range, right? And most people start out, it's actually like most people start out like they aren't investing, right? So it's like 0%. So you got like 0% over here. But for me, like I started learning about investing, and I was like trying to figure out, okay, this is how you can grow your money. At the beginning, like my set point was like, okay, well I can expect like normal market returns, and my set point should be at what most people call like the historical average for the stock market, right? And that's sort of where I can expect my ranges of returns to come from. But what's interesting is like I started investing, and started making some of my first investments, some of my losing investments, and so I was sort of at like around this normal set point. And then what was cool is like I saw the markets at the time. The markets were crushing it because at the time like the markets were doing really, really, really well. They were doing like 25%, say. And it's all about the long-term growth, right? But just for argument's sake. And so what's interesting is like I see this and I see this potential out here. I started having these returns. And so like originally I would be around this area right here. Then I would have this return over here, and I'd be like, whoa, that's pretty cool. How can that change my mindset? How can that change my paradigm? How can I shift my thinking? And for me, like at the beginning, like you just go back to the normal, right? Because if you don't get yourself used to this area over here, you're always going to come back to where your set point is. So if your set point is, I just make long-term investments and I try to slightly beat the market, maybe your set point, maybe it's not right here, but maybe it's just a little bit to the right, and you're just like, oh, I just want to slightly beat the market every year, and that's sort of my set point. Like, that's cool, that works. And maybe like you might have a couple of drags, but you're always going to come back to what that set point, right? Because investing, like a lot of it, like you can fundamentally change the returns you get with the management style that you pursue and the investment choices that you sort of invest in, right? So like you have the control over your portfolio. Like the returns that you get are essentially of sole responsibility of the portfolio holder, right? Like whoever owns the portfolio, like the returns that portfolio gets is because of the management style. There's just no way around it. You can either put everything in indexes and not do anything and get more market returns, or you can do more and be more. And so like, I remember I had some of my first investments in crypto, and they went up like 8,000% a day. And I remember like that's just this huge spike away from the normal, right? And what's interesting is like as you have these spikes, you have these huge returns. What it does is it brings you so far away from your set point that you realize, whoa, maybe there's some more opportunity out there. And this is a long process to go through. But like, what you want to do if you want to increase your set point with returns, if you want to increase, like think about this too with wealth. Actually, I'll do wealth after this because I want to make them kind of separate because they are kind of separate. So you increase this huge increase in your returns, right? Massive spike. What happens after that, right? What do you get with this return? Well, you have this huge growth. all of a sudden you're way over here and you're looking back at your set point like, whoa, I can't believe, going back to that analogy of the body, I can't believe I used to be that fat. I have like 6-pack abs right now and I look amazing. So you're looking back, you're like, wow, I used to be so fat, but I have 6-pack abs right now. Like, I look amazing. Let me do that again. So you look back and you're like, whoa, I used to be super fat, but like, whoa, you've got 6-pack abs right now, you look amazing. And now it's this huge gap. And you're like, do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay in this perpetual zone? Do you want to stay at this high level of achievement and success? Because you've gone so far out of the norm. And if you don't move your set point, what'll happen is you'll come right back here, and everything can disappear. You see people that literally they have huge gains, and maybe one year they triple their portfolio, and the next year they sell a bunch of winning stocks, they get into a bunch of losing positions, and then they lose half their value because they aren't psychologically used to having returns this high. They aren't psychologically used to crushing it so much compared to the norm. And that's the danger, right? If you can't master your set point, if you can't change your set point, you will come back to this average. Because I did not come back. I made a psychological decision. And I said, look, these are some nice returns. These are really cool. But you know what? I'm going to shift my set point over here. And I'm going to change what I expect from my portfolio. I'm going to change the results that I chase. And I'm going to change the actions I take to get those results so that I can have so much more achievement because I've seen what's possible versus the norm. And I now know that I can go over here because I've just been over here. And I've seen what's possible. And I have conviction, belief, and a burning desire and drive to shift my set point over here. Because what you set your mind to, you can accomplish. So now, instead of expecting very, meager returns, I expect extremely high returns. And my set point is around extremely high returns. And I find the investments that are going to yield me extremely high returns. And obviously, right, you have to start somewhere. And so most people, they start here. And everybody, basically everybody starts here, right? Everyone starts at zero with cash, negative with inflation, or they start, with normal market returns. And I said, no, you know what? I've seen this potential. I've had this growth. And so what you want to do is you want to have this big spike in performance, and then you want to maintain that and perpetuate it for the rest of your investment history, right? By instead of falling all the way back over here, you're consolidating at this new set point. And you're saying, I want to make this my new constant. I want to make this my new standard. I want to make this my new growth amount that I expect and that I pursue. And I will find a way to make it happen. I will learn to be more. I'll learn to do more. I'll learn to achieve more. And I'll make it happen. And it works so well. Because what you're doing is you're shifting your set point. You're shifting your mental expectations. And as you shift what you mentally desire, you're going to learn to create the actions that will lead to the actual results that will get you there, which is so huge, so powerful. And it's all based on this idea of set point. You can apply this to literally anything in your life. And what I want to kind of finish this up on is applying it to wealth, because wealth is one area where I see this so often. I think it's just insane because so much of it's all mindset, right? And this set point is what he explains it so well. It's just crazy. So I remember I was at the movies last night, and there's a lot of people. They're just constantly angry and pointing out flaws and pointing out negatives. I'm looking at the beautiful sky. It's just the most amazing day ever. And there's so many people that are freaking out over the long line to get in the movie. And it's dude, chill, it doesn't matter. So many people, they focus on things that don't matter. They have their set point, their emotional set point is very low. They have a low frequency, a low vibration. And so they're focused on things that are very unimportant because that's where their set point is. That's where their mindset is. They think, I should focus on everything that I see. Versus increasing your set point to only focus on things that actually matter, that yield the most opportunity, that are the most impactful and the most you have the most control over. So you make that shift and you fundamentally change everything that you do because you're going from bogus to extreme significance and importance. And it's so crucial, so key, so impactful. It all comes down to this idea of set point. So what I want to do is I want to sort of emphasize this with this example as well. Because once you make this shift, it's going to be so difficult to go back. Because once you change your set point, That's a change that lasts for literally like the rest of your life until you decided you might want to change it again. So with wealth, right, you're starting with, say like everyone starts at zero, right? I mean, it's just, you're not born, at least not until, we get some really, really socio whatever people that want to give everybody free money. You start at zero, right? And everyone starts at zero. And, it depends on where you grow up, or what kind of, house you grow up, or your parents, or whatever, right? I mean, it just depends on how you're raised. But like everyone has this point where they're starting at, and we're gonna call this like a low value point, And this becomes the set point. So people are sort of used to that amount of money. And it depends again on how you're raised, but for some people this is, just a couple $100, some people it's a couple $1,000, some people it's a couple bucks. Some people it's negative money and they're in debt. And it comes down to, your history, your family. And so like wherever you're starting at, that's your like basic beginning set point. It's like I expect and I'm used to, this much money in my bank account. And again, it just depends, but like that's the amount of money that you're used to, right? And then over time, maybe you start to grow, like you start to have investments, and so like, invest. Maybe you start investing in your portfolio, right? And very, very slowly, you start to maybe make little incremental gains. And your set point, like the amount of cash that you have in reserve always comes back to a set point. But maybe you have like this portfolio is kind of growing, and maybe you have a set point for where you want your portfolio to be, and so you're trying to get to that set point. Right? This is where your portfolio is, this is where your bank account is, whatever. Like you're always going to come back to this set point, right? So you have this huge paycheck one day, you get a big bonus. Like most people don't, just stick, they don't, like you have to make a choice here, right? So the choice is to either, move your set point, move that set point to here, right? Increase the amount of money that you have, you increase your set point for how much money you should have. Or if you don't, like you're going to come back to the set point right here, right? So maybe you want to increase the portfolio set point and invest some of that in the portfolio. It just depends, right? But no matter what happens, you're always going to come back to this set point. It's not a matter of question, like it's a matter of fact. Like it doesn't matter, how much there's a spike or how much more money you get. Like people come back to their set point. If someone gets like an unexpected bonus, usually it means they're going to go out and have a big party. Or maybe they're going to invest a bunch into the investments, right? Or assets and get some new assets. Like whatever it is, they're eventually going to come back to this set point. Now, my question for you is, like this set point, obviously it's different for everybody. It's not like Elon Musk can have the same set point as Joe Schmo. It just doesn't happen, right? He's never, because what happened with him, right? Well, what happens, right? When you make literally millions of dollars, you come all the way over here, and you totally leave where you started from. And you have so ridiculously much growth. Now you're over here. Now you have two options here. Your first option is to come back to your set point. And you have, tons of money. And I mean, you see this with lottery winners, right? Oh my God, this is exactly what happens with lottery winners, right? They start with nothing, buy a $2 lottery ticket, and then they have this huge amount of wealth that comes in. Now, they have a choice, they have a decision, they have to make a shift here. The shift can either be to move their set point, right? Or to fall back to where they used to be. So for lottery winners, since they didn't really do a whole lot of work to get here, very often, I mean, you'll see like lottery, they go back to bankrupt. They started bankrupt, they started negative, they started with very, very little, started with $15 in the bank account. They get hundreds of millions of dollars, and it all comes right back to their set point. Because they didn't change who they were. Elon Musk, what did he do to get here? To get here, he didn't get lucky. He changed his set point. And in all reality, he changed, like the most successful people on the planet, right? They changed their set point for wealth, changed their set point for success far before they actually get there. And so he might have, like, you can set your set point here and tons of money way before you actually get there. Because eventually you'll find a way, you'll find this one thing right here that's going to actually get you there. It's going to let you exceed your set point, and then instead of coming all the way back and failing because you don't do any work on yourself, because you just decide that you're just going to have a bunch of money come out of nowhere, you have no plan for it, you lose all of it instantly, instead you get set at your set point. And now you're used to this money. You're like, of course I have this much money, because this is my set point. My set point is now over here. My set point is no longer here. It's no longer here for my portfolio. It's all the way over here. exponentially more impact, exponentially more cash, because you change your set point. It doesn't really matter, what you're into, what you're doing. The moment that you can shift the amount of money that you associate with yourself and that you believe in, the moment you shift your set point for what your bank account should be, for what your portfolio should be, for how many assets you should have, what the value of you is, you're going to naturally be pulled to that set point. And the most important thing you can do is to make that shift before you get there. Like for me, I made the set point shift of my investment returns after I had huge success. I made that set point change in my own personal wealth after I had huge success. And I realized there was so much more. I made more money in 2 weeks than I made the entire year prior. I was like, whoa, there's so much more that's there. I need to shift my set point from minimum wage to massive lot of money, right? Change everything about the perceptions that you have. And this one event, I've heard this so often from many highly successful entrepreneurs, is they make a ton of money really quickly, and then they realize that all this crap back here is bogus, and they need to live their lives at this higher set point level. They need to live their lives with more value than they ever have before. But when I was doing this, for weight, right, and I was trying to change my body, what I did is I had this big shift. Obviously it was down, but whatever. And that shift came first without actually setting the set point. I set the set point after I got here. And that's usually not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to mentally envision where you want to be. You want to mentally envision where you want your set point to be. And so for me, I just envisioned 6-packs. I didn't really know what that actually meant in numbers. So you probably want to figure out, what's a 6-pack mean to you? Or what does a huge bank account mean to you? What do super high investment returns actually mean to you? And then set that in your mind as your new set point and completely abandon any of this crap right here and say, look, I'm not going to deal with average. I'm not going to deal with normal. I'm going to increase it. Because this is where I want to be. And I don't care maybe if because look, remember this idea of set point, right? You naturally want to get to where the set point is. So if you don't have any of this yet, you don't have any of the success, and it's just you over here, right? Not, right? It's just you. And you're operating at an income level right here. You're operating at some sort of wealth level. Your money's coming in, your investment returns are right around this level right here where most people are, right? Most people are broke. But your set point is all the way over here in massive levels of success. Your set point is super high up here, and yet you're over here. The only thing that can happen is either this amount of cash increases or your set point decreases. Now remember, we talked about this. Your set point is all mental and it's all psychological. And if you can set it and wholeheartedly believe in it, be 100% that this is where my set point is, your set point will not budge for a moment. And instead, you will come to that set point faster than ever before. Because the body wants to be where its set point is. The mind wants to be where its set point is. And that's how you create very fast results. By quickly going from where you might be, which might not be perfect, to exactly where you want to go. Because that's your set point. And then you live out the rest of your days at this set point level. Until one day maybe you want to increase it even more. That's the power of the set point. It is so huge, so massive. It all comes down to this single, fundamental, core, key concept. It's just massive. So that's really the core. That's the basis. That's the foundation of set point. And that's exactly what we see here with Yona. Like Yona, her set point, her set point's right here. And she's not going to be able to deviate away from the set point if she doesn't move her set point. It's the same thing with your bank account. It's the same thing with your investments. Everything comes down to where your mental set point is. And the biggest way to have the fastest result is you just gotta shift. You gotta sit down and think, where do I want to be? And then you have to say, look, I am gonna be there. My set point will be there. And I will deviate around that value. That is my new set point. I don't care how long it takes to get there. I know that I can do it. And sometimes you'll blow so far past it that you'll come right back to it. It's just so powerful, so huge. And sometimes it takes belief, and sometimes that belief has to come from an epiphany. For me, like a lot of the investing belief I had behind my set point and the returns that I strive for, that came from just experience, just doing it, seeing the insane returns and the power of financial markets that most people just completely ignore. So it might be a process, it might be a journey, but the core of everything, you don't have to go through the hard times. All you need to do is have total and complete conviction and belief in the outcome. And you have to just go super, super hard and say, look, I know without a shadow of a doubt, this will be a success. I remember there was this guy, he was starting this company, and it was like this big online poker site, and he was totally, completely convinced that this was going to be a success, because in his mind, the level of success of the business, right? Like you have a scale of like business success. You know, you've got no success right here. You're making like $0, and then where he was at, he was making like billions of dollars. His set point was in billions of dollars, right? And so that's where he was naturally going to ascend to, even though he started with literally zero. He said, look, I'm going to get on a plane to Argentina, one-way ticket. I'm going to fly out to Argentina, and I'm going to surround myself with all the best online poker players, and I'm going to get to my set point. This is what I know I should be at. And within 8 months, he launched one of the 3 largest online poker sites on the planet, and very, very, very quickly, he got to his set point! Because he knew where the hell he was going, and he got there. So it's so crucial, so key, to mentally set your set point for success. Set it for creating quality, long-lasting friendships and relationships that will change everything for you. Oh, and so here's Yona and Sambar, and you can see like they love each other, right? I mean, well, I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, they're still pretty freaking young. You know, spoiler alert, in the long term, they totally stick together. But like it just works out, right? Like because they like each other for like who they are, and it's not about like changing, because like they're set. Like if you look at like relationship, right? Like you've got sort of like the range of personality between the two, right? And personality, and I feel like personality is the connection that they have, right? And they both have their set points. Very like I'm gonna write the set point in blue. Like their set points are very, very similar, and so like because they're so close to each other, like they're alternating on the same wave, the same frequencies. They're in the same spaces, and they're interweaving, and it just freaking works because they're so close to each other, so connected. Their set points are so close, and so like this is why I'll start to see trouble or challenges that come up. Like if you guys seen like the Wolf of Wall Street, like he gets super, super rich, and he changes his set point, changes his personality. His set point goes from here, right? And his vibrations go from here all the way, over here, right? And now he's like super, super far away from where his old wife used to be, and he's way over here. And then he finds his new wife, and his new wife, she's like right here, right? And so he, loves her so much more because they're so much closer. Because the set points are closer. Because like, Belfort, like he changed his set point, but his old wife didn't, right? And so his old wife got left in the dust. Because there was this change in the set point he had, and the connection and the personality, and just like the underlying spirit in each other, which can come if you have like this big life change. For him, he went from like literally complete broke to like 100 million, like it'd be just so like insane movie, like 10 out of 10, cannot break it out enough. And it all came from this core foundational concept of the set point, right? Because he shifted his set point, and it changed who he was. Because like your set point is who you are, It doesn't matter what aspect of your life you have. Like if you can change any aspect of your life just by understanding the set point of where you are right now, and understanding where you want to be, and then moving your set point to where you want to be. Like, I don't know, set point is so powerful because you're always, like he's always going to vary around the set point right here. If he can come back here temporarily, but in the long term, he's always going to come back to his set point. It doesn't matter where it happens. He can go over here temporarily, but in the long term, he's always going to come back to his set point. And that applies literally to all aspects of your life. It's just so true. It's all at the set point. You have to change your set point if you want to change the results, right? It's just key, so key.